What if I told you that the Wendigo is more than just a creature of nightmares, but something deeper? Ask yourselves, which of the 7 deadly sins would best symbolize the story of the Wendigo? Perhaps gluttony for its endless hunger. Or maybe greed, for its insatiable craving to consume more than it needs. Maybe it's pride, for believing it can take without consequences. But think. What if I told you that the true monster is something that exists in the darkest corners of human nature? During the early 1900s, governments were trying experiments with mind control and bioweapons. In an isolated facility, scientists discovered a way to harness a rare ancient pathogen that could induce extreme hunger and aggression in humans. This pathogen, known as Project Hunger, was designed to create a new kind of super soldier, one that could survive in harsh conditions, had no fear, and was driven purely by instinct. However, the experiment backfired spectacularly. Those exposed to the pathogen became uncontrollably violent, cannibalistic, and began to exhibit some specific traits: emaciated bodies, glowing eyes, and heightened senses. These Wendigo soldiers began attacking to anyone they saw, leading to a massive slaughter inside the facility. The facilities were sealed, so that the Wendigo soldiers could not come out, leaving helpless whoever was sealed inside with them. When the Cold War began, the experiments were allegedly ramped up again, under the guise of biological warfare research. Secret facilities were set up in remote areas, and new methods were tested to see if the Wendigo transformation could be controlled or even reversed. However, every experiment led to failure, and every failure led to catastrophic consequences. It's said that these experiments were often conducted on prisoners and political dissidents, who were given little choice in the matter. Survivors who managed to escape or were released told tales of horrific transformations, people losing their sanity, and bodies being twisted into unnatural forms. Since the collapse of the Cold War, sightings of Wendigos have seemingly been on the rise. What if the government lost control of some of these test subjects, and they have been roaming the wilderness ever since? Some say that if you dig deep enough, you can find evidence of the government's attempts to suppress the truth. Some wilderness areas, particularly around abandoned Cold War sites, are marked as restricted or environmentally hazardous. But what if these zones are where Wendigo test subjects have been contained? When disappearances spike in these areas, official reports chalk them up to animal attacks or unpredictable weather conditions, but if you speak with locals, you are going to hear whispers about pale figures seen lurking in the forests at dusk. So, the origin story says the Wendigo is a spirit of the north, where the cold is unforgiving and food can be scarce, and it's a creature that was once human, but was transformed by dark and supernatural forces after succumbing to the unthinkable. Cannibalism. What if this is just the government, cleverly using the media to discredit the idea of Wendigos as real creatures? Horror movies, TV shows, and even video games have sensationalized the Wendigo myth, turning it into a pop culture phenomenon. By doing so, they ensure that any genuine sightings or reports are dismissed as fantasy. Who knows? Maybe the government hasn't given up on controlling the Wendigo transformation. Maybe with advances in genetic engineering, the Department of Defense is once again attempting to harness the power of the Wendigo, experimenting with gene editing techniques to create hybrid super soldiers. Maybe still to this day, there are Wendigos inside SEAL facilities, scattered across the world, waiting or trying to get out in order to satisfy their own greed. So ask yourselves a question. Who is the real monster in this situation? The one who is driven by their instinct, or the one who experiments with the laws of nature? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and tell me what else you would like to discuss in the next video. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.